Hello there, this is Big Benedict. We're playing Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition on varying difficulties here. We're on the Bloody Palace. We're currently on stages 41 through 60, and we're dealing with, I believe, 10 Chimera Seeds here, and I just got hit by one, which is really unfortunate. At least they're not starting to Devil Trigger, because the Devil Trigger ones are more keen to evade, plus they resist the snatch too, so they have like armor that prevents you from snatching them, but you still can buster them. So we're going to be making our way through this particular Bloody Palace segment, and remember to always charge your sword, always charge your gun. And it looks like we've got some flailers, so what you want to be doing on these guys is ranged attacks plus the exceed streaks when you can, when they're not flailing their arms about. And let's see what we have here. 4 Chimera Seeds, 2 legs of the Scarecrows, and just some more of the flailers. So I have completed this all now, and it does get pretty stressful when you get up to this part, but if you just can keep your composure and always keep an eye on your health, you're going to be better off than you normally would be. So we're on stage 43 now. We've got the assault flailers now coming into the picture, I think for the first time, and it's kind of an interesting experience to do this. It's pure combat, and it's a little bit unlike the main campaign just because of the fact that you've got a lot of different variations of enemies here. So it looks like we're resting pretty comfortably with the time. We've got 16 minutes. We're doing the stylish points. I thought about maybe doing another Bloody Palace with a different character, but I honestly don't know how Dante can be defeated with Dante. I haven't tried to do it. I haven't looked. But anyway, we've got some more of these guys here. Some more of the seeds, some more of the swords. And what's going to be happening on these videos is that we'll be facing Echidna at the end of this video. The next video will be pure live commentary, and then we'll have another 40-minute video after that, which will be the conclusion of the Bloody Palace. And it gets pretty interesting with all the Angelos and things like that. You have to really be careful, particularly on what I've experienced is on particular waves where you don't think you're going to take too much damage, and you get kind of complacent and, dare I say, a little arrogant, and wanting to somewhat phone in your victory by proxy, because you just think that not much is demanded of you. You know, you're a certain skill level. How could enemies, that aren't that hard, defeat me? And it's just that they can get a lot of hits in on you, and it gets to be pretty frustrating. So, like, for instance, I think a lot of the flailers were damaging me on this run, and maybe it was a little arrogance on my own behalf of trying to cut through the flailing with the sword, and it just didn't seem to be working. Plus, whenever you're dealing with an enemy that you cannot hit when he has a shield on with the blitz, like, this is a perfect example of enemies that, never would be paired up with each other in the main game, because one has to be dealt with the gun for the most part until he has his shield off, and the other enemies, it's not that they have to be dealt with the gun either, but when you're trying to hit one enemy with the gun, like those assaults, and then you inadvertently hit this guy, you take damage. So it's definitely something to watch out for. But I do like to taunt at the end of killing a blitz. It will be another leitmotif that's going on in this particular Bloody Palace run. And we've got, the dogs were damaging me a lot too on this run. see the dogs, you know, just mostly enemies that, you know, they're best dealt with the ranged attack of the gun. But I have defeated this twice now, and I won't spoil anything on the final fight with Dante in case you don't want it to be spoiled. But if you are coming here for help, just realize that most of my advice will be to use the charge shot on Dante, because it's too much of a run back. The charge shot works really well, and you know, I will be imparting the best advice I possibly can on that boss fight. You know, like what you're supposed to do when you royal guards. You know, like you're supposed to throw them at that point. So a nice caliber over to the Alto Angelo. Try to take these guys out. And we'll take a look at what stage we're on here. Once this guy is finished off. Okay, come on, let's get this fucker finished off here. Okay, SSS. We're currently on stage 48. Okay, we're gonna have 6 of these Chimera seeds, and then a scarecrow leg, I believe. So always take these guys out really quickly so that they don't start turning into flailers, but I think we're too late for that. Yep, too late. But we're still only on Son of Sparta difficulty. This entire video will be Son of Sparta. The next video is going to be Dante Must Die. Isn't it? No. We're only going to 60, so the next video is going to be live commentary, and that will be Son of Sparta. The video after that will be the final video. That will be on Dante Must Cry difficulty. So, I will be publishing these videos pretty quickly, and in tandem with these videos, I will be releasing Uncharted 2 and 3. So we've got a little bit more diversity on the channel, a couple of projects going in sequence with each other. On a room like this, though, you just want to run around using the Charge Shot 3. You know, grabbing these guys, always moving the camera off of the Faust. And it's yet again another combination that you just don't see in the game. So we're just keeping the camera off of him, sizing him up. Waiting for the charge shot level 3 to build. It takes 8 seconds to build it. And then we'll grab him, do a showdown, and finish him off. 10 seconds for the clear time there because we did take some damage. Moving on to stage 50. You're going to have a scarecrow arm and a leg here. Number 3, 6 assaults, 15 Chimera seeds, so it's a pretty lengthy wave of enemies here. But when they do start to double trigger, post chapter 80, you will see them start to guard against the snatch, and I don't even think I remember them doing that on the main campaign, but I'm sure they do it. It's just that normally you kill a Chimera seed off really fast before it even starts to double trigger. But damn, look at all these enemies in here. There was only one point in this entire guide where I was really fearing death, and it's going to be in the next video with the live commentary, because it's hard to commentate while you're doing all this combat. So that was probably the reason why. It's a lot better to focus when you're just sitting back and not having to narrate at the same time you're playing the game. So that should give you some pretty good hope. I mean, I'm not the best player at this game by any means. I have gotten a lot better since I've put in, started to put in the time with this game about a year ago. I mean, a year ago, I would never even think that I could do a challenge like this. And as far as the difficulty, I would say it's comparable to doing an SSS run as far as what's demanded of you, skill wise, and just keeping a handle on the stress. Oh, and we just got a donation. I just got an email here from Wesley. Damn, that was nice. That was truly nice. You know, to get those donations as they come in. Maybe I'll do another channel update after this, because the donations, there's been a couple of extra people donating and I haven't recognized them, but it's been such a bunch of just a tide of great feelings washing over you, to know that there's a lot of people, more than you even thought. A couple of these guys haven't even spawned yet. A couple of scarecrows, but there's a lot of people that you don't even know, like you don't even realize there's so many people watching your videos, and it's just that flood of good feelings that washes over you. Okay, so we've got I think we're on room 51 or 52 now. We've got ground-based enemies, bunch of swords, so you know the drill. Activate double trigger, charge shot 3 on these guys. Get your max axe. I mean, I wouldn't recommend rushing into this. I would try to do the main campaign. There's going to be a lot of people with varying degrees of skill on this. There's some people that would even look down on a challenge like this because it's so, to them it's pretty easy. I've completed it twice now. When I started to do it, I did die a lot on it because I was unfamiliar of all the enemy combinations that were demanded of you and with which you were confronted. And I think a lot of it too is just keeping a handle on your stress level. And it's easier said than done sometimes, but if you can always go into these fights with charged swords, always, make sure that you're not getting hit too much, back off, stop being so aggressive maybe, because there is that fact. Just ease up a little bit. It demands so much patience too, because I've died on Dante. That's a long run back to get to him again. Ooh, there was some luck right there. I didn't even know that guy's blade was falling down. But as you can see, you can easily get the stylish points up to 100,000. That's exactly where we're at right now. And it's camera manipulation as well. You just don't want these guys to go do their normal routine, because that's going to be too hard to contend with on all these fights. The center camera button is your friend as well. It's part of the mechanics, I would say. So it looks like we've got a Mega Scarecrow. The Mega Scarecrows are pretty slow, so I would deal with these faster frosts if I were you first. Get them out of the way. Knock these guys over, and then you can easily do a showdown on them, with the caliber, or use different things like the caliber or the shuffle. So we got 10 seconds there. Let's see how many. See what stage we're on. 54. Okay, this particular stage, I've got it all in front of me here of what's what. But basically, I can easily tell what we're doing here. We've got some Angelos, some Scarecrows, And let's see here. 54. Just one Alto Angelo. So you're not going to be able to send back a projectile for the Alto Angelo unless an Alto Angelo is accompanied by at least 2 Bianco Angelos. So just realize that he's got a couple of commands that he does. One is to send that projectile at you with his subordinates. The other one is to have his subordinates rush across the screen and kill you. And the game is programmed to do that a lot on stage. I think it's 100 or 99. And it's not as overwhelming as you might think, just because a lot of them are going to be killing themselves. I think I've mentioned that before. So stage 5, you're going to have a Mega Scarecrow here and then a Faust, another combination that you just wouldn't see in the normal game. So what I would do is I would bust through this guy, snatch him, and try to do a showdown on this guy, because a showdown will kill both of these enemies. It's just that you got to have one of them off the camera. So charge shot 3 for this guy. Watch out for his attack. Snatch him. You always want to snatch him first so that he has to recover and bounce, so that there's plenty of time to do a showdown. Otherwise he'll scuttle away, which is really annoying. Okay, so this room here, you've got a couple of, looks like Altos and a Mega Scarecrow. But if you guys have any questions, just let me know. I mean, when they're guarding, you see I'm trying to launch these guys and it's just, they're not letting me do it. And even the I forget what the move is called, but it's right bumper plus forward plus Y. And it's supposed to be a double down move. I don't know what it's called in the menus, in the moves list, but they'll even block that. So it's an enemy that you really have to come up from behind on as much as you possibly can. You know, break their shields with the charge shot 3 and the exceeds and things like that. Caliber works really well too, and the shuffle. Both are very strong moves. And it's just really a block happy enemy. But it's one that can be dealt with. And we're dealing with him, as you can see here. Okay, so we're almost to Echidna. 57. You're going to have an arm and a leg of the Scarecrows, numbering 2, so 2 of each of those guys, and what was this? 3 Mephistos. So I always thought it interesting in the main campaign that it was only a rare exception where enemies were actually mixed and matched. I mean, it was usually there was usually a pretty balanced way of them introducing an enemy to you, like just one at a time, and then they would have multiple of them, but they never really. I mean, there would be the rare time when there would be like Frosts and these guys, but it was always like an exception. It was usually just, it was usually dogs, it was usually assaults, and then you'd have another wave sometimes with like a blitz or something. But I always thought the game was always pretty restrained. Okay, so here's me doing a wind up here for the sword, or a charge, a rev. And a room like this can be pretty manageable if you're jumping around, doing the charge shot 3. I mean, I'll be saying that so often on this guy, just the charge shot 3 is so helpful here. And it's even better with the double trigger because it throws 5 summoned swords as well automatically. And notice that we're keeping that Mega Scarecrow off the camera. Got a nice launch on him. But you're only going to have 5 dogs here, so it's not that many. And with this guy taken care of, I think we're on 59 now. Yes. Flailers and a Mega Scarecrow. Another, like I said, another combination that would be unheard of in the main campaign. You know, it was always just Flailers. It was always just Mega Scarecrows, or Scarecrows and Mega Scarecrows. But these guys hit me quite a lot here, if I remember. So it is safer to... the animation is pretty much the same for the killing animation of the Chimera Seeds in the air and in the ground. So it's safer to rend them in the air, because then most of the enemies are usually on the ground, not in the air. So it is safer to tear them apart in the air. Okay, so we should be on the Echidna boss fight here. You're going to start out really close to her. Make sure you charge your sword and have your gun. You want to do an Excalibur over to her, double trigger at the same time, throw a charge shot 3 her way, and I like to double down on her as well. Right over here, get a double down, double trigger, YY, pause, YYY. I love that move. And you've just got to be really careful here. This is a fight that can get out of control if you don't watch out for those tentacles that she summons up, because a lot of those hits are really fast and they can stack up, so beware of that. And just remember too that this is still on Son of Sparta, so there's nothing that she's not going to double trigger or anything like that. And she's going to taunt, so we're going to take advantage of that. Hopefully we can get a stun on her. So when you get a stun, grab her and then rev the sword. Rev the sword. You'll see it revving because the exceed gauge will fill up. And at that point, just wait until she has invulnerability after that. Okay, so when she throws the seeds, make sure you jump to the right of those, and there are pods you can hit for health over here if you need to, but she is going to give you a full heal after the fight. And if you do need more advanced tactics than I'm imparting here, because this fight is not very long since it's on an easier mode, I have a great SSS rank guide, in my opinion, that will help you out a little bit more. And I think we fight her at least twice with Nero, so it's pretty dangerous to come up here. See how she closes her pod up there, so watch out for that. And this is pretty nerve-wracking. Wow, you've got to be really careful here. You know, at least we got a stun on her and we were able to take her down, but like that was really close. Too close for comfort, I would say. So there are some pods over here to grab, but like I said, it's unnecessary because she does give you a full heal. And that has been Bloody Palace stages 41 through 60. I will see you in 61 through 80.